Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Astrology and Coffee. This is our 19th class. Next week's going to be the 20th. Yay! um, and we are going to be talking about the sun today, part 2. So we talked about the sun last week, and again this week we've got a ton of information. If you've ever been told that you are a specific sign, I've been told I was a Pisces, that's my sun sign. If it goes off of just your day of birth and you haven't looked up your big complicated chart, that's where it is. And anyway, I'll introduce you. I'm Megan with the Academy of Logic and Light. We are a community education platform that provides a safe space for people to practice their spirituality without being indoctrinated. We have monthly meetups here in the Salt Lake Valley, and we are also on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and we have a Facebook group all under the same name, Academy of Logic and Light. And you can also find us at academyoflogicandlight.org. We also have a Patreon. So if you're interested in supporting us, you can sign up over there. You can also follow us for free. We have lots of new updates that go out on Patreon, as well as information on our live streams and other different options. So check that out. All of our links are below too. Also, if you are interested in teaching with us like Elle and Julie are today, please reach out to us on social media, or you can email us at academyoflogicandlight@gmail.com. Well, without further ado, I'll turn the time over to Julie and Elle to talk about the sun. And I mean, just so much information. I was reading through these slides earlier. I'm so excited to hear everything about the sun. I'm just going to roll a little intro and turn the time over to them. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay? We've had a little bit of just an echo.
Yeah, it sounds much better now. And I feel like we're already starting to get a little bit of that Mercury retrograde energy messing with technology, which is always fun when you're doing live streams.
Yeah, it makes it exciting, and you just have to go sometimes on the fly and figure it out, and that's okay.
It keeps us authentic and humble.
There.
I've got all my friends' charts pulled today because we're doing a deep dive on the sun, and we're doing houses and aspects, and I can't remember what else. I made the slides, but there's so much information that I won't be reading it all, but this slide will be available on the Patreon for everyone's future access. And you can find that through our website. So
Awesome.
without further ado.
When I think of the sun, it's like truly just the most, it's your ego, it's who you are. So it's such a huge part of your chart that it's just who you are. And so I was going to kind of go in a little bit with how your sun and different planets, just a quick, because I know we have a ton of slides, so I'll make it very quick, because I feel like a lot of people get confused because they're like, oh, well, who I am, and then my rising is how people see me and how I see the world, and my moons are my emotions. And so your sun is just kind of like when you sit down and you're like, who am I? I am a Libra sun. My core, who I am, is kind, diplomatic. Those are traits of Libra, and that's truly to my core who I am. And so when you get all of these different planets and all these different energies and you're trying to figure it out, when you sit down and you're just like, who am I? Really think about like the first things that come to mind, or your friends that really know you, not just acquaintances, people that truly know you. Let them tell you the three like themes or characteristics that kind of who they think you are, and see if it matches up with your sun sign. That is the best indication to do. The sun is this, because there's a lot with astrology, and if you can just pin down like three characteristics that you really identify with, I guarantee you they truly are something that correlates with your sun. Fun fact. Yeah. Just wanted to. We have a shit ton of slides. I'm adding
so many slides. Now we're splitting up, at least so far. The sun is in 2 parts, and the moon is definitely going to be in 2 parts for the exact same thing. Kind of what we just said. We're covering the sun in 12 houses, the positive, and I don't really like to say negative points. I think we've both talked about that, but that's the word that's here. And the sun in its aspects. And then I will always remember your quick cheat sheet. The planet is the what, the sign is the how, and the house is the where. So you always want to check all three things. You're not just your sun sign. There's a lot more to this, obviously. Here we go.
Nothing that we've been saying this whole time.
Yeah. That's the part about learning. You just want to keep repeating information until we're all set. All right, first house Aries. I'm gonna let you go ahead and say what you want to say about first house. First house people.
So, time that you have your sun in the first house, this is a really good indication that you are the main focus in your life itself, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, being yourself being the most important thing, like taking care of your health, being healthy, knowing when you need to go to the gym and work out because you're, frustrated, or you putting yourself first. I know a lot of people tend to be very, I don't know, this person's selfish or they only care about themselves. But I really think truly to be the best for other people, it's important to choose yourself first. So if you have a sun in the first house, you very much care for yourself, take care of your health. Physical health is very important. I wouldn't say so much mental, focus on that a little bit, but I would say a lot of energy, depending on what your sun sign is. Does it mesh well with Aries? And like if you are a Libra sun, first house, your complete polarity. So there could be a little bit of a tug and pull there, like you are and the direction of life that you're going. It may not be always the easiest way, because Libra is a giver. We want to do for others, and being in the first house of self, we feel very selfish. So just depending on what your sun sign is, kind of look at how your sun energy flows with Aries energy, and that will help you kind of indicate like, oh, okay, this is a good aspect, or it's more of a challenging aspect that I have to learn and grow with. And we're going to cover some aspects today, so I'll go more into that once we get there. But just look at what your sun sign is, and research a little bit between Aries energy and your sun sign and see how they correlate.
Mm-hmm.
First house.
First house, we got it. And I was like just thinking, if you guys don't know where to find it, so like this is what a regular chart looks like. Wherever the little sun sign is in the house, that's where you find out if you're what house your sun is in.
Your circle dot is your sun.
The one that looks like a titty.
Your little booby is on there.
Quick ways to remember. Everyone can remember those.
I like it. All right, second house. So this is going to be more Taurus energy. So this, the second house is the Taurus house, ruled by Venus. Lots of love, lots of beauty here. So your sun sign and figure out how that energy vibes or doesn't vibe with Taurus energy, with Venus energy. These are going to be people that work really hard for things. Things matter to them. Having security is very important to people. My husband is a Gemini in the second house, and he loves his things. He has automobile, motorcycle. He has all these things that, and he truly cherishes them. He takes care of them. They're really important. He also needs to feel secure. Like these people need a nice, cozy home. They need to, financially be able to support themselves. They're just very practical people. They don't need a lot. The things that they do have, they really, I get stuff and I'm like, oh, I don't take care of things at all. I wish I was better, but I see people that are like, oh no, this, you can't do this because this, we have to take care of this. Man, really showing right now. These people are really great at reserve, and I'm trying to go through some of the things on the slide because I think I'm covering them all, but I just want to make sure that I'm hitting some points on there too. But yeah, they can be very possessive because they're their things, they are theirs. So Taurus energy, sometimes they have that me energy, like this is mine, and so that is one of the things. Greedy. They can become obsessive with money, and I've seen that happen a lot with second house placements because it's so important to them that it's hard for them to get out of their heads about it. So it's a very great place. Like if you have a Taurus sun and you're in the second house, those energies, like when you have the same sign in the same house, it just vibes so well. It's gives you that, like, it like magnifies that energy. Whereas if you have like an Aquarius in the second house, it might be a little more of a struggle, and it might also the way that you make money and your security is very different than others because Aquarius is very different. So just look at your sun sign, look at second house energy, Venus and Taurus, and kind of compare the two and see how they work well together or where you have to learn and grow. And let me know if I need to keep this up some, because I can babble about houses all day.
Perfect. You came to the right place.
I know. I have lots of it. Third house energy. So if you're third house, the third house is Gemini, ruled by Mercury. This is going to be communication. This is going to be thinking. This is going to be quick wit right here. So if your sun is in the third house, depending again what your sun sign is, you are probably really quick to like off. Like somebody says something, they're smart ass to you, you pop right back off because you have that Mercury, that energy. I would say like a Virgo sun in the third house is such a good placement because not only do you have quick wit, and Virgo's also ruled by Mercury, so there's like double Mercury, quick wit, and Virgo can be vicious. They're like stab you straight to the heart because they're just kind of, what's the word? Not vicious. They're like
direct.
Direct, but they can also be like
kind of rude.
Yeah. There's a word for it. I can't think of it. It's really early. I don't want to have enough coffee today, so
I feel that.
Yeah. So
I just looked at my friend's chart. I was like, "Yep, that tracks."
Oh yeah, smart, witty, quick, all the things. So the good points, they have the ability to study and focus. That's nice. They're cheerful personalities. Third house is that Gemini energy. These are fun. They're lighthearted, very childlike. Bad points, they can be disorganized, arrogant. Misunderstandings with relatives. The third house represents siblings. So this can be a really good placement for like you're really close to your siblings, or if you have maybe an aspect that or challenging with siblings, you might fight a lot with your siblings. So that's house energy stuff, though.
Not bad. There we are. Oh, we're killing these slides right now.
I know. I'm like,
it just looked intimidating.
All right, fourth house. This is Cancer, ruled by the moon. This placement is very homey. This one is when I see a sun sign in the fourth house, I know family means so much to them. I know that that's probably the most important thing in their life is their family. Obviously, the whole chart matters, but it just kind of insinuates cares about their person, very motherly or fatherly, depending on your energy, whether it be masculine or feminine. They benefit through inheritance. This is a placement of people that tend to receive things, so that's great. They can be insecure. Also, and if you are a sign that doesn't do well with emotions, this kind of puts you, kind of think of Capricorn. Like I think of a Capricorn in the fourth house, like I was saying with the Libra and the Aries, it's kind of that same thing. They're polarities. They're completely opposite of the zodiac. And so Capricorn is like the father, and Cancer, fourth house energy, is motherly. So when you place someone who's very direct, not a feeler, they're just kind of who they are in their ways, into a very sweet and kind, nurturing house, it kind of can be challenging, or they evolve through all that and they are this very sweet, kind, loving, nurturing Capricorn. Not that Capricorns aren't sweet and kind, it's just in their nature more direct and be more to the point instead of
businesses.
Yes, exactly. Than a home life. So
that's actually funny. My friend is a Capricorn with her son in the fourth house, and she is like very nurturing, but also very direct, running the business of nurturing, actually.
Oh, I love that. What is her business?
She is a director for daycare.
Oh, very cute. Yeah, that's 100%. They're great because they're on their shit, but they're also like, oh, these are little children and we should be kind to them.
Yeah, and she's like very protective mother energy with it too, but it's just cute to see because she's like looking at the outside, you wouldn't really like know
think.
about that fourth house.
Yeah.
Cute.
Speaking of nurturing, my little babysitter,
Oh.
Auntie's here. All right, let's move to the fifth house. This is fun energy. The fifth house. I always think, like, if I'm going to a party of the zodiac, I want to go to the fifth house party because I know that it's going to be fun. It is, and lustful. There's not a lot of depth there. It's not going to be heavy. It's not going to be like the eighth house party. The eighth house party is going to be like dark, heavy, and I just, I want to go to the fifth house party. So, fifth house is Leo. No, I struggle with the masculine Leo, but it's always a good time. Ruled by the sun, bright, shining energy. So if your sun is in the fifth house, you're probably having a good time. Life is probably fun. You're enjoying life. You have joy in children. Also joy in like the new beginning of relationships. Like you really enjoy, you're one of those people, like, do you ever meet people that start relationships, but they don't last very long? Like it's like,
that's me.
Is your sun in the fifth house?
It is.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Why do I always forget that? I always think you're in like the ninth house or something. It's because of your Sagittarius stellium.
It changes everything.
Okay. For example, you love
It's a good
relationships, but like after a certain point,
I get bored.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It gets super boring. So even with a Capricorn, who's most of the time, Capricorns are known for the longevity of relationships and staying in them forever. And so this is a prime example of how a house can change and alter. I mean, Aries stellium, so that's another thing. But this is another indication of how her life kind of goes. She's having fun. She's enjoying life.
I'm having a great time.
Joy in children, fur babies.
Children. I like other people's children.
Yeah. Well, you're cats too. Like those are
for babies all day.
My eyes. You have to have to feed them, and they're not paying rent, so they are children.
Which I remind them frequently.
Broke ass little roommates.
You can't even answer the door for Grubhub. It's so rude.
Yeah, exactly. Like protection. You could have got a dog, but they're
too much work.
Too much work. So yeah, pride interferes with love relationships. That is very true. Sometimes this sun placement, depending on what it is, it's hard to. I think of like someone who's been cheated on publicly and they stay with the person. I'm like, oh, this person is definitely not a sun in the fifth house, because a fifth house person, even if they loved this person, most likely not going to stay based on the fact that their pride won't let them. They're too prideful. Things like that are just like intolerable. And so that's kind of the energy. I don't know if that's a bad thing, but I guess it could be, because if it really was meant to be and there's something that happened, they would be very dismissive, very quick of like, nope, sorry. But not because they were feeling it, more of like, oh, what will people think of me? My pride is more important. So I get that. Sixth house. Virgo energy here. Again, Virgo ruled by Mercury, communication, very direct, very precise. These are perfectionists. If your sun is in the sixth house, you're probably very organized, depending on what your sun is and other placements. But typically, this is a very organized person. They're very great at communicating. They like power. They can be naggy. Obsessed with health, which is great because they want to be healthy. This isn't so much like first house energy is like physical health. Sixth house energy is like mental health, because of that Mercury energy. It's mentally like constant thinking, thoughts running through their heads, and so they're constantly making sure that their mental health is intact, or at least trying to. They can be stressors. So I know a lot of times Virgos are very different than Geminis. They're both ruled by Mercury. Geminis are a little more, and they can just kind of go with the flow, where Virgo energy doesn't have that. And so if you have a Virgo in the sixth house, you're probably great at what you do professionally, but you need to like have time for yourself and like sit down and disconnect a little bit, because this can be really bad on your health. Good points. Efficient problem solver, 100%. Like they can think every obstacle, every different solution, they are the ones that you want. They are definitely finding solutions to problems. Difficult to work with. They're perfectionists. Have you ever worked with a perfectionist?
Yeah, I'm a flight attendant. Those are my favorite people to put in the galley.
Exactly.
You go
Ooh.
organize that stuff.
Yes. Yeah. Those people they're just difficult. They want it done their way, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's very much needed, but they are hard to work for. So that house, sixth house energy. Seventh house energy. These are the Libras. Again, ruled by Venus and Taurus. Libra, Venus ruled, beauty. Taurus, a little more depth, I would say, than a Libra. We're lighter, we're easygoing. It's kind of like that Virgo, Gemini house, and Virgo's more, they're earth signs. They're more practical, and whereas us air signs, Gemini, Mercury, Virgo, that ruler that rules both of them, with the Taurus, with the Venus, it's the same thing. Libras are more chill, we're more go with the flow. This is a house of relationships. We are all people pleasers. Libras love two people. Seventh house, make sure that you're not people pleasing over your needs. That's a big thing here. So make sure that you're doing for others and being kind and the things that feel right to you, but don't let people's needs become more important than your own. This is kind of a placement for that. So popular, social, when your sun is in the seventh house, glitz and glam, all the things, probably like to dress up, do nice or stylish, fashionable, whatever, however you want to say. They know how to attract people. They can be very fun. The bad point, the bad thing with this one too is relationships are so important that they kind of lose themselves in relationships. Like you become your relationship, and that's that. So just be aware of that. Be cautious. But overall, having your sun in the seventh house is kind of a light, sunny disposition, I would say.
That's funny. I was looking at my friends' charts, and I have two friends with their sun in the seventh house, and they're both like wildly different, but the relationship aspect was really interesting for both.
Very similar. That's kind of the house is the direction of life that you kind of gravitate towards as well, and so relationships tend to be what they gravitate towards.
Interesting. Okay. Oh, whoa, we went from seventh to eighth, 11th house. Hold on. Wow, these went out of order. Looking for the eighth house. Where are you? Cool.
Yeah, I can go into the eighth house if we need to and just kind of talk.
11th, 7th. Okay, well, apparently the 11th house is twice. Weird.
Okay, so the eighth house, we'll just kind of disregard this. This is the 11th house. But Scorpio energy, Scorpio. Think of Scorpio as the darker aesthetic transformation. If your sun is in the house, you transform a lot through life. You really have to look things are change, and sometimes you got to pull yourself out of the darkness. It's a heavier placement. I sometimes associate you still maybe not so much with death, like close people to you, but career wise or just kind of things that you encounter, a lot of like people passing away and having to deal with that. This is a very good placement for occult, witches, wizards, healers, because you have that energy of the eighth house, also very sexual. Eighth house, Scorpio, we all know represents sex. So this could be a good placement for, depending on your sun sign, a sex worker, and this is just placements that you enjoy, making money at the thing that you love. So, and you're probably pretty good at it. Just saying. So that's the eighth house energy. I would say bad points for this one would be something like if your sun is in the eighth house, don't go too far down the rabbit hole without pulling yourself up for air. So just kind of, know that everything's going to be okay. That it's not, the rabbit hole can be very dark, very intriguing. I know that you like it down there. Eighth house suns like the darkness, but come out for light every once in a while. It's good for the soul.
That's so funny. I had to text my friend. I was like, oh my gosh, you're an 8th house sun.
Out of the darkness. Come to the no.
But he's a Leo, so it's actually kind of funny.
Oh, is she dark? Is she a darker aesthetic, or is she Leos are
No.
Oh, that was the 8th house.
Oh, how do we get there? Well, there's the 8th house. That is so bizarre.
Yeah. Let's see.
If you want to just see if there was anything missed.
Oh, yeah. So suffer from early loss or father. Yeah, I didn't want to say close because I feel like sometimes when I say things like, oh, if you have this in the 8th house, you're going to lose someone you love. And that's not necessarily the case. It just can be an indication of like loss. Just early loss. You know, I try to go into more of like what you might do for a career, father or husband. I mean, yeah, things like that, depending on other aspects. So, anyone out. Because there's a lot of times things are said and they're like, ah! So, not the case. Tons of 8th house placements that do not lose their father or husbands. Take pride
or sex workers.
Anytime I see Scorpio or 8th house placements, I'm like, have you considered being a sex worker in your life?
How does that go over in conversation?
I know. Wait, what? It was past life stuff. Never mind. Forget I said anything. It's fine. I was in my past life. I've had 2 past life readings that say the same thing.
Oh wow, interesting.
So, no judgment. Judge-free zone.
Yeah, no judgment.
So, this is Sagittarius energy. This is ruled by Jupiter. This is lucky. This is fun. Exploring, learning, philosophy. These are all the things that the 9th house energy brings. You like to study, probably study abroad. You have very spontaneous energy. You get really excited when people surprise you. You're those people. I'm not one of those people. So I cannot relate. But I definitely can appreciate a sun in the 9th house because these people are wanderlust. They're very curious and they love to learn and they love to travel. The good points, you believe in and pursue an education. Yes, these people are studying. They always want to know. They want to get to the bottom of things. They're curious. They also like to push boundaries with law. That's one thing that I don't know if we've completely touched. If you have a lot of planets or your sun in the 9th house, this is somebody that can be resistant to the law. Maybe an attorney that fights for innocent people, that you kind of want to push back in society. Let's see here. Yeah. Very, very good placement. I always appreciate a sun in the 9th house.
I only have 2 friends with that in there, but both of those friends are not really sure about their birth chart, so I'm like, there's room for error on that one.
No, I always think your sun is in the 9th house. But I don't know if it's because you're always traveling. I have no idea. I don't know why.
Yeah.
House is not sticking in me.
It's in the fun 5th house. I finally get a fun thing.
Yeah. Party girl.
That does add up sometimes.
All right, 10th house, Capricorn, and ruled by Saturn. This one is good. So my sun sign is in the 10th house, and these people are gravitated towards career and public role. So my whole life has been about working. I'm starting to evolve through this. Like I'm really let my guard down with the whole working until I die in 12 hours. It's because I used to enjoy that. I really found fulfillment in it, but I'm finding I'm evolving through that. So that's really interesting how this is all playing out. And it's giving me an opportunity to study how this is all playing out in my chart too. But we'll go over that another time. When your sun is in the 10th house, you're very focused on your career. It's very important to you. You definitely are a leader. You are a great, great at organizing and keeping certain things in companies going. Like for instance, you see a need and okay, the marketing's kind of slacking. You notice that you can go and evolve it in a different way of recharging a section of a business. That's kind of one of the cool things about having, depending on what your sun sign is. I'm speaking from a Libra sun in the 10th house. But you know, just because Libra and Capricorn are so different, it gives you, if you have like Gemini sun in the 10th house, or even like a Leo sun in the 10th house, the way that you manage things and the way that you create things and how you run businesses is very different. It has a little flavor to it. But the 10th house gives you that direction and makes you really good at running businesses and your public role and keeping your reputation squeaky clean and things like that. So sometimes we can be arrogant, though. That is true. When I'm on my high horse,
like,
and
with the reason.
with the reason, you're like, I'm running this shit. Look at me go, you know? But
my friend who I'm staying with right now, she's a 10th house sun in Taurus and also has the stellium in a 10th house and stellium Taurus.
Holy sheesh. What does she do for a living?
Well, she is a flight attendant. That's how we met. But she's also an esthetician and also real estate.
Okay. Yeah. I'm like,
she a boss babe.
I love it. I love it. I real estate. I have my real estate license. I have my degree in business, and I do hair and lashes now. I literally feel like I've done.
You guys should be friends.
I know. Like, holy shit. Like, because I love it. I love to be successful. I love to complete things and be like, I accomplished this and I did this and I did that. And I did it with all these children. Like, holy shit. Like, you know, like I enjoy it. And so now I'm like, I do work 2 days a week and I have a baby and that's it. It's very interesting how it's kind of played out, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm here for the ride. So
you're doing amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, Danny's a 10th house. Danny, our friend Danny, she's a 10th house sun as well.
Oh, nice.
In Cancer.
Oh, see, and that's the opposite. How I was saying Capricorn in the 4th house. So the Cancer in there's probably this very nurturing and kind and very like get shit done attitude. The Cancer, the polarity mix, when you have your sun sign in the opposite house on the zodiac wheel, it always gives it a completely different flavor. So
I love that.
Fatherly.
Okay. 11th house.
11th house. All right. Sun is in the 11th house. This is going to be friendships. Very important to you. I have a Gemini daughter with her sun in the 11th house, and I've said this a number of times. She really loves her friends. Like, I'm cool, whatever. But the friends are it. They are like the reason for her being, and they are the most important to her. So there's that. But she has this little humanitarian thing about her where she loves animals and she wants so as a placement for someone who wants to, you know, create a community and tend to it and nurture it and grow it. So really creative energy, very optimistic. But you know, Aquarius is very, I don't want to say strict, but they're very true to who they are. And so when you have a sun in the 11th house, it makes so idealistic and creative, tendency to be demurring and with others. Yeah, they can be kind of assholes. Sun sign house, Aquarius energy. They're just very true to who they are, and they don't really stand for any BS. So if you're just kind of like someone who doesn't know what you're saying, you're just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Energy of the 11th house. All right, the 12th house. This is associated with Pisces, ruled by Neptune. Oh, these people.
When you have to preface that way.
With your suns in the 12th house, you just probably have. I say this, but I'm going to say this and then I'm going to retract it. So I'm not going to say it like that. If you're a water sun sign and you're in the 12th, I think this is a great placement because your water energy and intuition magnifies, and I feel like that energy helps you crawl out of this dreamy, unrealistic, but needed, you know, like 12th house energy is like fascinating. It's very imaginative. It's very, I think a lot of movie producers, I'm talking so much with my hands. I'm like seeing it now because I put your hands down. But a lot of like movie producers that create these really creative movies, I feel like are sons in the 12th house because they have that capability to dive deep and like think of the unimaginable that like some of, well, how would they even come up with? Yeah, and I guarantee you that they have some Pisces or 12th house energy there to create these fantasies and these worlds that just don't even exist or that we know of. And they create it just off of their imagination. And that gives me like 12th house energy for sure. They are spiritual. They understand that different realms of life. But they do tend to be secluded and they do live a lonely life too because they do like being alone. So if you have sun in the 12th house, make sure that you're spending time with other people. Don't get too far in your head or in your daydream world that you don't even see or know that other people exist out there. I'm sorry.
I have a friend with the sun in the 12th house, but her sun sign is Aquarius, ascendant is Pisces, and moon in Scorpio. So there's a lot of water in there.
She's probably vibing though. She's probably
Oh
chilling.
my God. she's something else. I was like, your Scorpio's showing.
You tell. I like that.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I like it.
Anything else on the 12th house?
That's all I got for the houses. I tried to get through. I mean, I made it in 40 minutes, so.
I'm impressed. This is a lot. And even this, I like tried to keep the slides like manageable because there's so much information. I'm using all these books. Like I'm like an old school librarian with references over here.
Much. It's like your Capricorn is shining so bright and I'm here for it. I love it. I love it. I'll let you go into this and I'll just kind of touch on the aspects.
Okay, perfect. So aspects, and when you're looking at your chart, let's see if you can look. I should have probably been like slightly more prepared. So the aspects part when you're looking at your chart is this little triangle down here, and you'll see reds and blues and all of that. So there's no bad aspects, there's just learning points. So let's all remember that as we dive deeper. So you've got your the lines that go across, the little red ones are your what are those called? Oppositions and conjunctions. And then you've got blue triangles or trines. Those are good things. Squares, just little things like that. So good aspects for the sun and moon are well-integrated personality, adaptable to others, tends to have harmonious life, gets promotion and job. So if you follow your little sun sign from here and then follow straight over to the moon, you'll see if there's anything in that little box. And that's how you know. Super simple. Just a little map. Adverse aspects. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You go ahead. Sorry. I thought I was. Yeah.
The adverse aspects are inner conflicts about self, insecurity, actions are contradictory, and emotionally oversensitive. And a conjunction is stubborn and self-willed, sometimes an unbalanced or one-sided personality with deeply rooted habits.
And just so you know, there is a formula to every aspect. And so it's a degree thing. But to simplify that, because I don't know if a lot of you are just, you remember numbers and you're like, oh, that's 145 degrees. That's going to be a square. That's not how my brain works. To help you with your good aspects, trining is a sign that's in the same element as you. So if you are a water sign and you see that you have other water in your chart, depending on where it is, you can look and say, oh, they trine each other because they're within the same element. Earth, fire, air, those are going to trine. Those are going to be good aspects that are going to trine that are when we have at the top, the good aspects. Fun fact.
Yeah, and we'll go a lot deeper into aspects like later. I have so much more information to come in here, but this is just like a brief overview, an introduction to aspects, if you will.
Yes.
Sun and Mercury. The Sun and Mercury are always within 28 degrees of each other, and thus, if they form an aspect in your chart, it will only be a conjunction. In conjunction, if it's 5 degrees or less, separate the sun and Mercury, the native is apt to be rigid and dogmatic in opinion.
This
Cool.
happens.
Mine are empty. Sweet.
Eesh.
Do you have anything to add for sun and Mercury aspects? That's
No,
pretty.
we'll go deeper into it. But I mean, when you have, I have seen a lot when I see that they're super close together that I'm like, not a bad thing, just something that you have to work and evolve through.
Yeah. Sun and Venus. Because the sun and Venus are never more than 48 degrees apart, the only aspect considered in between these two planets is a conjunction. A conjunction is a very harmonious aspect bringing warm-heartedness, sociability, and charm.
Mine are not conjunct.
I'm looking, I'm like, I don't have anything in the top 4 for
I have a
my
Libra
sun.
and a Virgo Venus. And let me tell you,
Virgo Venus. Oof.
I know, it's a rough one.
It's kind of like a Capricorn Venus, just like critical.
Yeah, but you know what? My
Picky.
Taurus Venus, so it's smooth over
That's
here.
sweet. I love that. Sun and Mars. Oh, did you have something else to add? Sorry.
No. I was just gonna say it's not the most favorable.
Oh. Sun and Mars. Yeah, I guess that's a lot of like masculine, aggressive kind of energy. The good aspects are creative, assertive, enterprising, indicates a high energy level, which makes a lot of sense. Adverse aspects would be tendency to be quarrelsome, combative, and headstrong, lacks staying in power, is hasty, and takes risks. Conjunction is hard worker, adventurous, restless, and enthusiastic. Yeah, that one looks like a challenging one.
Yeah.
Luckily, mine is free.
A struggle with the squares and those that aspect is.
I oddly don't have anything in my Mars. My Mars empty.
Oh.
I don't know. Sun and Jupiter. We love Jupiter.
Yes.
I've got some stuff going on in there. I don't know what it means though. Optimism, generosity, enjoys popularity, and attracts luck. The adverse aspects are extravagant and spendthrift tendencies. Person may be conceited, overbearing, and indolent. Conjunction is a cultured mind and a sense of humor.
My sun trines my Jupiter, and I can say I am all of the good aspects up above.
What's the one with the black that does like this sideways?
The Chiron.
That's a trine?
Huh?
No, the aspect that's black that has the little.
That one is the conjunction.
Always forget.
The trine is the blue triangle.
Mm-hmm.
And then your square is going to be red.
Yeah.
I should know that, but.
Oh, well, I'll send it to you later. We'll figure it out when we go deeper into aspects. I'm like, I can do the blue ones and the red ones. I don't know about these little black ones or the green ones.
Conjunctions.
Okay. Here we go. Sun and Saturn. Oh, this one is going to be a fun class. I can't wait for Saturn. Good aspects are ability to persevere, good concentration, well organized, and succeeds through efforts. Adverse aspects indicates disappointments and obstacles. Subject must overcome hindrances and feelings of inadequacy. Conjunction, it gives seriousness and sense of purpose.
I don't think any of mine. I don't have anything with my Saturn.
I have a black Q. I don't even know what that means.
A black Q?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to send you my chart. They're like question mark. This might be good, might be bad. How rude. The Sun and Uranus. The good aspects are leadership, ability, strong initiative, a touch of inspiration, and genius in thinking. An adverse aspect is rash, erratic, nervous strain, possible separation in marriage. Conjunction is originality and independence, inclined to be obstinate, possible superiority complex.
So when you want to know if your marriage is going to last, you do a compatibility chart and you place theirs on top of yours and you look and see, does the sun square Uranus?
I like that.
Just fun fact.
Oh, I love that. We're going to have to go deeper into that one for sure. Excuse me. Sun and Neptune. Good aspects are good imagination, artistic potential, creative self-expression. Adverse aspects are vagueness of mind, unbalanced emotions, susceptible to treachery and deceit. And the conjunction is powerful artistic expression and fine aesthetic taste and psychic abilities. That actually makes a lot of sense for Neptune, that little slippery planet.
A little dreamy.
Yeah. The Sun and Pluto is a good aspects. Oh my, what do I got? I don't have anything in my suns. Good aspects are strong character, ability to start afresh with new ideas, and self-confident. Adverse aspects are inclined toward selfishness, aloofness, and antisocial behavior. With a conjunctions, it's usually egotistical. A person may have a power complex, a doctoral way with others.
Yeah. I mean, that a lot of times when I see a sun conjunction with Pluto, it's typically someone that I'm like, oh, you're on a power trip. And I don't, it's hard to find out because typically I don't ask those people for their birth charts.
Yeah.
But will know. And then one day maybe we'll become friends and I'll be able to look, because this is definitely their energy of like real power trip asshole vibes.
Doesn't Pluto give you like the most like Napoleon tiny man syndrome energy? I am a planet, goddammit, let me prove it.
I'm so far away and I get no. They're super cranky, but you know.
I drive a big truck.
Oh my gosh, because of it, not because for any other reason. They always seem to. No, I just like it. I'm like, there's a complex. But no, if that makes you feel better, whatever.
Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
We did it. We made it through all 25 slides in 47 minutes.
There's no way. I was like, I'm going to talk fast. And then I'm talking, and I'm like, maybe I'm talking too fast.
We're just winging these. So everyone, you guys are getting like front row seats to we don't know what's going to happen exactly. Which makes the lives a little more exciting.
Yeah, very often.
Yeah. Well, this made me happy. If you guys have any questions, put your questions below. We'll hang out for a couple more minutes while we just chit chat about the sun.
Yes.
And next week we're gonna do part 1 of the moon, and I've already got all the slides ready. Well, mostly, and the Instagrams I'm so excited about.
The moon is. I just love her.
I know, I'm so excited, and the Instagrams are so cute. I'm dying for them.
Yes, the moon. I can't wait until next week, hopefully, by the time we do the moon, I bought curtains for our living room that are black with like the moon phases across them, with like little things that hang down. They're so cute, but I'm like, hopefully they'll be in by the moon and I can like position myself to the back. Cool, but
I can't wait to see.
I know we do have our witchy. I'll just kind of turn. Got our witchy woman and our little moon, and then our moon phases.
Cute.
They go through. It's very, very fun.
Is that your living room?
Yeah.
Cute.
But yeah, this time, if you're interested, go Amazon find and tell people ask questions. You have all the moon phases.
Oh, I love that.
Right? I'm like,
I need that for my office. Send me the link.
I will. It's actually a very magical little thing.
Cute. Also, make sure that you're following us. If you have any social media, we do different posts on Facebook than we do on Instagram, so being involved in both are important. This Sunday, we're doing Sips and Sigils in Salt Lake City at Cucina, which is going to be exciting. Bring a friend. It is a free event, and we just do in-person events once a month at the time. And then we've got some other really cool announcements coming up that you'll be able to find on our Patreon, our Instagram, and our Facebook. That is all I have.
Hopefully that was helpful. All the information on the sun. We gave you everything that we had in us. So, yeah.
All those slides will be on the Patreon in the correct order.
There is an 8th house. We found it.
We found the 8th. That was so weird.
It just disappeared.
Well, thank you so much, Elle. Thank you, Megan. Thank you for everyone watching, and we will see you guys next week for the moon.
Bye.
Bye.